But we begin with the search for survivors in Surfside, Florida, as rescue efforts stretch into their 5th day. At least 9 people have been killed. More than 150 are still unaccounted for, as more than 400 rescuers are working around the clock. ABC's TJ Holmes is in Surfside with the latest.
Officials identified 4 more victims overnight, among them 26-year-old Luis Bermudez and his mother. As the desperate search for survivors enters its 5th day, this morning, crews and officials working around the clock, refusing to give up hope.
We just need a few more miracles each day.
The death toll climbed to at least 9 overnight, more than 150 still unaccounted for. Rescue teams arriving from Israel and Mexico to support the operation. 6 to 8 squads scouring the massive destruction at any given time, pouring through the rubble left behind after this horrifying moment of collapse. This whole section of the Champlain Towers South now gone. 12 stories pancaking to the ground, the way the building collapsed, leaving some hope that voids or pockets of air could form in the rubble, large enough for someone to survive. And now, new questions about the Champlain Towers. The city of Surfside releasing documents from 2018 estimating the cost was $9.1 million to address issues raised in a 2018 report that found major structural damage to the concrete below the pool deck, including failed waterproofing. An engineering report from that same year identified significant structural damage to some parts of the building. Now, concerns growing about the tower's sister buildings nearby. These photos from Champlain Towers East showing chunks of concrete missing from columns in the parking garage. One expert tells us the damage in those images alone would not cause a complete system failure, but some residents refusing to take any chances. Fiorella Terenzi, who has lived in that building for 21 years, now leaving over fears her home could collapse and health concerns.
I wanted to stay. I wanted to help the community. At the same time, the mix of dust, smoke, fire, pollutants, the air started to be very difficult for me to breathe.
Also this morning, growing concerns over Champlain Towers North, similar in construction and age to the building that collapsed. Surfside Mayor Charles Burkett says they're urging people to evacuate, but not mandating it.
I don't know if I'd be comfortable staying in that building until I knew for sure that they had done a comprehensive top-to-bottom study on what's going on with the systems in that building.
And Diane, back in 1995 in Seoul, South Korea, building collapse. A woman was pulled out of that rubble after 16 days. You go back to 2013, Bangladesh. A man was pulled out after 17 days after building collapse there. Go back to 2010, that Haiti earthquake. Someone was pulled out of the rubble after 27 days. So you have stories like that, and the word is not unlikely. The fact of the matter is it's not unprecedented for people to be pulled out of the rubble after many days and many weeks even. So hope is the word here until otherwise noted, Diane.
Yep, that's right. We're seeing those rescue teams still working around the clock. TJ Holmes in Surfside, Florida, thank you. Meanwhile, families are growing more and more desperate for news of their loved ones. Some are holding out hope, as TJ said. Others are looking for closure. ABC's Victor Okendo has their stories.
This is our command and control and planning tent.
ABC News getting an inside look at the base of operations for Miami-Dade Fire Rescue's Florida Task Force 1, an elite unit that's been deployed to disasters all over the world, but this one hit home.
What keeps you guys going?
For us, this is personal. Team members know folks, individuals that are trapped in that debris that were victims in this event.
The process is painstaking. Relatives asked for DNA samples to help identify those found in the rubble and for unique characteristics for the missing, such as tattoos and scars. Jake Samuelson, whose grandparents Arnie and Miriam Notkin lived on the 3rd floor, says that his family has gotten 16 phone calls from the apartment landline only to pick up and hear static on the other end.
We're just trying to rationalize what's happening here, and we're just trying to get answers.
Earlier this morning, Robin Roberts speaking with Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Chief Andy Alvarez about the search and rescue efforts.
We have the latest technology as far as rescue equipment. We got DELSAR systems that can hear. We got underground sonar systems that can detect victims. We brought in huge cranes to help us lift big slabs of concrete, and obviously that's going to aid us so that we can get inside and again find those voids that we know might possibly be there and you know, rescue those people.
And Victor Kendo joins me live now from Surfside. Victor, what are you hearing from engineers about the issues raised in that 2018 report?
Diane, I have spoken with a number of engineers since this happened, and they all tell me pretty much the same thing, that they believe it's going to be multiple factors that contributed to this collapse. But let's tell you a little bit more about the 2018 report itself, released by the city of Surfside, showing the estimated cost of the mandatory 40-year recertification process was $9.1 million. This was to address issues raised in that 2018 report that found, quote, major structural damage to the concrete below the pool deck, including failed waterproofing. Engineers also filing another document right around the same time describing the overall concrete framing as being in good condition. So there are still so many questions, and unfortunately they won't be answered for some time, because this investigation is going to take weeks, months, maybe even longer. And again, the priority here on the ground, Diane, is still on search and rescue.
Yeah, and Victor, on that note, the fire chief says that they found some voids or air pockets within the rubble, and that's allowed them to be able to kind of tunnel through the building. How important is that at this stage?
Diane, it is critical, but keep in mind, as I've been saying, this is a dangerous but delicate operation. Here's what Chief Kaminsky said just yesterday, that if there is a void space, we want to make sure we're given every possibility for survival, and that's why we can't just go in and move things around radically, because that is going to have the worst possible outcome. So you have the safety of the crews and the safety of any possible survivors on the line. Diane?
And Victor, as we listen for updates, what are you watching for today?
Well, we're waiting for an update in a few hours here from officials. So, of course, the one thing we are all hoping for is word on any survivors, and then we'll see if the numbers have changed at all overnight. One thing I should mention, while it did rain pretty early this morning, it does seem like they've got the fires under control. We just have to see if the elements will be on their side today. The way the mayor of Surfside has put it, given all the fires they've had to deal with and the rough weather and the stifling heat, they haven't had a resources problem here. They've had a luck problem. Diane?
All right. Crossing fingers for a little bit of good luck there in Surfside today. Victor Kendo, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.